Hey, what's going on, Hammer fam? Welcome back to HammeredHead. We got another fan submission today, again from Jack. Jack's one of the top contributors of the channel and a certified drunken Athorian on Patreon. He's sending in the Imperial Officer from the OG Saga Collection. Hey, thanks, buddy. As always, really appreciate the submission. Super excited to review this guy and get him into the collection, so thank you again. I've always loved the officers, so really happy with this guy. He looks pretty metal in there. And an awesome shot here from A New Hope. This guy does have code cylinders, but the figure itself does not, so little discrepancy, but not a huge one. And then, oops, kind of a goofy shot up here. Imperial Officer. The Imperial Officers are cunning, calculating, and ruthless. They have survived a grueling training program to earn their rank. Whether he is giving commands on the bridge of a Star Destroyer or leading a garrison of stormtroopers, the Imperial Officer is in complete control and rules with an iron fist. Failure means death, as many in the service of Darth Vader have discovered. Ooh, hope this guy doesn't fail. So, the one in the picture here has black hair, and the figure has blonde hair. So there are actually two versions of this figure released. We got the blonde one, obviously. Looks pretty cool. Let's get him out of there and take a closer look. Yeah, he is present and accounted for. I really like the look of this guy. He's a little tough to balance just due to the limited articulation on the figure, but it is an older figure, so it's a product of the times. And the sculpt itself just does look really good. First off, I think from this angle, he really resembles like the Star Wars Rebels officers, because the visor on his hat like totally covers half of his face, just like in the show. Which I always thought looked goofy in the show, but seeing it on the figure is kind of fun. Obviously not intentional, given when this figure was made, but it works out that way. Looking up close, though, he looks really great. Fine detailing on the hat, all the way around. His hair sticks out the bottom, which looks nice. He holds the blaster rifle really nice. Real firm grip on it. Some nice folds in the uniform. He's got the Imperial cog on just the left shoulder. So this guy technically, I think, is actually an NCO, not an officer. I think he's an Imperial Bridge Crew. So a little different than, like your Tarkins and your Piets. But he's still got that, nice Imperial swagger to him. Some cool ruffles all the way down, nice belt. And then, of course, like this comms piece on the wrist, which is painted really finely. And then a couple pockets on the pants going all the way down into relatively basic boots, but they have a nice shine to them. So this guy's been keeping up on his uniform, which looks good. But yeah, overall, I think he looks great. He's very screen accurate for sure. Definitely a good depiction of an Imperial Bridge crew, but, for the sake of an Imperial Officer. Only the one accessory is like the standard Imperial blaster. Nothing too fancy about it. It's a decent sculpt. And again, he has a good grip on it, which is nice. So yeah, I really like this guy. I think he definitely is going to fit in well among the ranks of other Imperials. Articulation is pretty basic. Everything is swivel. So he's got a swivel head, swivel shoulders, swivel elbows. He's got swivel wrists on both sides, but his right wrist has sort of like a curve to the glove. So you can actually like get a bit of an angle if you spin it all the way around, whereas the left wrist is pretty much just straight. And then he's got waist movement, and then hips. Nothing in the knees or ankles, which again kind of makes him a little tough to balance. But for a basic pose, he can stand there pretty well and get the job done. Inspection. Right. Clean your armor, trooper. Oi, who are you?
Huh?
Yeah, so that's the Imperial Officer from the Saga Collection. I really like this guy. I think he looks great. Again, he's a little tough to pose just given the lack of articulation, so you can't get too much action shots going on. But if he's just going to stand there and be an officer, he gets the job done. He strikes a mean parade arrest. Just look at him there. I think he looks great. Sculpt-wise, too, the detail is phenomenal. It really just looks like he walked right off the set of the movie. I think my only complaint, besides the articulation, would be that he should have been labeled as Imperial Bridge Crew rather than Imperial Officer, because there is a difference, both on the roles of the characters and obviously the costumes. This guy has more of a jumpsuit compared to sort of like the tunic that the officers have. But, once you take him out of the box, obviously it doesn't really matter what it said on there, so it's more of just a nitpick. Not a big deal at all. Jack, thanks again so much for sending this guy in. I really love him. It was so much fun to review. Really happy to have him in the collection. He's going to look great with the rest of the Empire figs. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. As always, thank you to all my Patreon subscribers. Be sure to follow on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Check out the Patreon page, and don't forget, stay hammered.